Hello and welcome to another full review of my thoughts video from Killer Off-Road Hobbies. Today we're looking at the Helion 10MT XLR. Oh, I'm missing a wheelie bar wheel. Bummer. This is a 110 scale 4-wheel drive monster truck from Helion that comes in at about $360 as of the time of this video. Let's look it over. Very cool looking body. This body was actually really resilient, and apart from a few little dings and scratches, this thing held up very well. I didn't even reinforce it. Only damage is these two little eyelets right here where the body posts come through, but other than that, nothing. Very solid. Here's a look at the bumper with the LEDs. You do have your threaded bodied shocks. They are plastic. Tons of adjustability, camber and toe in the front. Awesome tires. This thing comes with amazing tires. Over here, the story's the same, camber and toe adjustments. Waterproof, and your 60 amp ESC, definitely waterproof. 3300 kV motor, rips and is waterproof. Battery tray is pretty good. It could have longer straps, but that's not a big deal. It does come with the outerwears to protect everything, but I didn't use it. In the back, pretty much the same as the front. Adjustable camber, no toe, and you do have plastic drive shafts, and there is a track bar there. LEDs under this ginormous wheelie bar, and your shocks are threaded. Underneath, pretty common, I guess, other than these little bit of extras. It's very nice though. Easy to work on. Your transmitter, while being somewhat cheap looking, does have a lot of stuff. You got your EPAs and reverse switches up here, as well as trims for channel 1, channel 2, on-off switch, and you do have this third channel button right here. Works on full AA's. Pretty standard nowadays. But I do like this transmitter. No real range issues, and it has a good feel in the hand. Sweet. Alright everybody, so now that we went over all that stuff, like normal nowadays, normal. Yeah, so we're to the part where I just kind of tell you about it and tell you whether I like it or not. So let's do it. Alright, so I did not reinforce the body, as I said. Get off of there. Get. But it has held up, except for a couple little dings on the back here where the body posts go through. All in all, just a few scrapes and stuff. No breaks or cracks or anything like that. So this is definitely a decent body, especially for the beating it took. And I think it looks pretty unique in its design with the gray and white. You know, all of this stuff looks pretty good, and it is pretty reminiscent of like a, I guess a Ford Raptor body. Those are really popular nowadays, and there is several different versions of them. This is just another one. But they do tend to look pretty cool, and I do think this is a very decent body. Getting to the truck. So, just a couple things. I mean, I have tested a couple different 10 scales in the last couple months, and you know, the Red Cat TR-MT 10E, and I did the Low C Tenacity. Now, the Tenacity is quite a bit more expensive than both. This is just kind of in the middle. One's 300, this is 360, the other's 400. 400 is pretty high for a 10 scale, but I found the Low C Tenacity to be an excellent truck. I mean, outside of a few small like electrical issues I had with that thing, with the ESC, I mean, that thing was killer. It took a beating. I didn't break anything on that truck. Now, with the TR-MT 10E from Red Cat, I did have a breakage. It wasn't that big of a deal. But I did kind of feel like the truck was a little bit like underwhelming, but for the price, it was awesome. You know, like coming in at $300 with what you get with that truck, it is an excellent deal. So both of those trucks I do hold pretty high in the 10 scale realm. especially the value with the Red Cat is really, really good. The low seat tenacity, while being more expensive, I do feel like it is worth it. You get a lot more power. You don't have much adjustability, but it is uber tough. I mean, I beat on that truck. Not as hard as I beat on this truck, but I did beat and beat and beat on that truck. And it just took it. It took it with a smile on its face. So getting back to this, the Helion Revenge, outside of a few small things, I mean, I can't really say anything bad about this truck. It does have plastic drive shafts, but from my experience with me running 3S and just, you know, just beating this thing at the rock quarry, I didn't have any problems with the drive shafts. You get full adjustability on this thing. Your camber front and rear is adjustable, and you do have adjustable toe in the front. It comes with LED lights. It's brushless and waterproof. The ESC is a Hobbywing ESC, so you can adjust it with a Hobbywing program card. The shocks, while being plastic bodied, they are threaded, so you can adjust your ride height and a little bit of your spring rates. I found the suspension to be set up very well out of the box. I didn't want to change a thing on it, and the tires are absolutely amazing. So with all that this thing comes with the little bit of stuff, you know, the extras that Helion put on this thing, like these little muffler things and the side steps, giving you an outerwears, you know, to kind of protect the chassis. I didn't use it because it is kind of a hassle to get on and off, but it is nice that they actually throw it in the kit. You get LEDs, full adjustment. I mean, all of that stuff that you get for less than $400, I think is spot on. So I'm just gonna come to basically my thoughts about this. I like this truck better than both the Tenacity and the Red Cat. I think this truck is superior in pretty much every way than the TR-MT 10E from Red Cat. And I think outside of power, because this thing does have less power than the Tenacity, I think outside of power, this thing is right there with the Tenacity, except it has a lot more to offer. With the Tenacity has good tires, this thing has great tires. The Tenacity is very durable. This thing is right behind it in durability as far as I'm concerned. The parts support is basically identical. You can get parts for them pretty easily online. The thing that stands this apart from the Tenacity is the adjustability. This thing is fully adjustable, where the Tenacity is not adjustable at all. It just has solid plastic links. So I think that sets this thing a step above. Now, one thing with the Tenacity is it does come with the low, medium, high switch on the transmitter, which is nice, but this thing has EPA, so you can turn down your throttle to make this thing mellower for, say, you let your kid drive it or somebody that's not too savvy with RC drive it. So you can adjust that part of this, and the transmitter is absolutely excellent. I didn't have any range issues or anything. I do like the Tenacities better, but all in all, I give this thing a huge round of applause. I mean, this thing gets 2 thumbs up for sure, and definitely 2 stamps of approval for me. I did have a couple breakages on this thing, but it never stopped running for me. I basically broke the entire front half of the truck off. It was just being held on by one little screw that was basically ready to fall off. But through all the abuse I put this thing through out at the rock quarry, it kept going. It just kept going. And that is all you can ask for from an RC. I mean, I had a ton of fun with this thing,
And I think this is an amazing little truck. I really do. I hold this thing in very high regards because I really like the tenacity from Losi. I had a lot of fun with that, and outside of those minor electrical issues that got straightened out, I didn't have a single problem with that truck at all. So for me to hold this thing higher than that should tell you guys a lot about how I feel about this thing. I don't think, I honestly don't think there's a truck out there for the price that will compare to this. With your full adjustability, brushless, I mean, if you live in a hot area, you probably would want to get a motor fan. I mean, it's $10. So, you know, I live in a really hot area, and it's like 90 to 100 all the time here. And very, very often during the summer, it's 108, 115. So I live in a very, very hot area. And I ran this thing. It didn't hit thermal on me, but it got pretty smoking hot the last time I ran it, where I was just full throttle the whole time for the whole pack. So if you want to get a motor fan for it, I'd say that is a good idea, but I highly recommend this thing. I just can't say enough good things about it. I really, outside of a few small things like the heat issue I had in this huge, ridiculous wheelie bar, I really don't have anything bad to say about this thing. The part support is good. The parts that I broke, I expected to break more than I actually did. The parts were cheap. I was able to get this thing put back together with spare parts for 20 bucks, and they were to my house in like 4 days, I think, or less, 3 days. So with the tires, the brushless system, how durable this thing is, adjustability wise, I feel like this thing is the full package. I feel like this thing is exactly what you would expect to get if you pay, you know, close to $400 for an RC. I think this thing delivers 100% on expectations, and I have pretty high expectations from RC, especially when I buy a 10 scale for almost $400. I expect a lot, and this thing delivered. All right, everybody, that's going to be my review on the Helion Avenge 10MT XLR. This thing is awesome. If you are in the market for a 2 or 3S capable 10 scale 4-wheel drive monster truck, this is what you should get. Definitely. I am very, very confident that this will blow anything else out of the water. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, everybody, thumbs up if you liked this video, thumbs down if you didn't. Stay tuned to K.O.R.H Off-Road Hobbies. Subscribe if you're new here, and check out that description. We have slowed down a little bit, but we are nowhere near stopping with this channel. We're gonna keep this going. We're gonna keep RCs coming through here. I've got a ton of RCs I need to review just sitting in my garage. So this makes room for another one to get out there and test. All right, everybody, so support me, support the channel, and thank you all for stopping by, and we will see you on the next video. Until then, peace.